Where's the diamond ring?
Look how dark it's getting.
Oh, look.
Now.
There's blue.
Holy crap! This is crazy! So you can look for 4 minutes.
How cool is that?
Without your careful.
I gotta put these down. Oh my gosh. It looks so dark.
It gets darker and darker, colder and colder as the sun disappears behind the moon. And then it's gone. This must have felt like the end of the world not too long ago to those who didn't know what an eclipse was. The eclipse of April 8th didn't end the world, but for us it marked the beginning of a new chapter. After years of a semi-nomadic life of not having a permanent home, things were about to change in a big way. Once again, I found myself traveling across the country. I've lost count of how many times I've done it at this point, but it never gets old. The plains, the desert, the mountains, the desert again. And finally, well, the place I now call home. I never thought I was going to move to San Francisco, and yet here we are. I'd been here quite a few times in the past and I've made quite a few images. I love it here, but there is nothing like living somewhere to really get to know that place, because you find things that you don't have time to discover when you are only passing by. A walk around the neighborhood with my camera is my favorite way by far of doing photography, and that's what I've been doing here for the last few weeks, exploring around. Lots and lots of walking, exploring all the trails and streets. I've made a few images here and there, including some photographs of the local fauna. The best part of living somewhere, though, is that you get to experience the place under very different conditions. I had to wait a month, but finally, a few days ago, I got the magic, a glimpse of the magic that San Francisco has to offer. The foghorns are a beacon for the boats traversing the entrance to the bay, but for me they are the sound of the fog, the sound of magic. Beautiful. This was not the first time I encountered this coyote, but that morning it was behaving bolder than usual. It seemed very interested in me. It followed me from a distance as I photographed the landscape. I didn't think much of it and focused on the beautiful foggy morning. What could possibly make this any better, I thought to myself. Turns out that my friend the coyote had followed me all the way here and was now out in the open. For the first time, I saw a potential photograph emerging from this. I asked it to move towards the fog, and even though it was not very cooperative at first, it eventually did, gifting me with the photo of the day. When I woke up that morning, I had no idea I was going to be photographing a coyote walking across a golf course in a foggy morning, but that's how it goes. And I actually had very different plans for the day, but photography being my job, I was able to ditch them and go out instead, and good thing I did. Anyway, you might be thinking, yeah, that's easy for you to say, that you can do photography like anywhere because you are in a cool place, and it is true that it is kind of cool here in the city. I love it, but I've been doing this for years now. First in an unremarkable small town in Spain, my hometown, a really tiny place in the country, and I've been doing this in the Midwest as well, another very small town in Indiana where my in-laws are from, and I made some of my very favorite images in those two places. And that is because, I've said this many times, there is always an image waiting for you to be made, and every place has some very special magic happening very early, but it happens, and when you live in that location, you get to be there and you get to be ready. It might not look that special to you at first because you might be used to it. That's what happened to me in my hometown, that I had to move abroad and live in another country for several years until I learned to appreciate the beauty. And sure, I also love to travel to remote places, but again, you gotta give it a try, because finding beauty in the mundane all at your doorstep fills you with joy. You gotta give it a try, and I wish you all the luck. Allow me just a quick note before letting you go. As you know, making a living as a photographer nowadays is kind of hard, so I really appreciate your support by watching my videos, especially if you make it to the end like you did with this one. But if you want to take it even farther and you want to support me and my work even more, you can join us on my Patreon page following the link in the description down below. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.